So we're seeing the games from the past, and we're going to watch the first match from Frosty's perspective. So we'll be jumping into that right now. So here, now this is the kind of hand that is slightly dubious because it doesn't have any food payoffs, but it's definitely, same thing. I did discover the cap in the wee small hours. Yeah. Like, it just filled up so late in the day. Like, that's what I mean. Like, literally, Friday morning, there was like 24 players. And just, it was like the Riders of Rohan arriving, man. I was saying to Esports Scotland, I'm like, the Scottish community's great. They're going to come out in droves. We're going to fill 32, no problem. And we did discuss raising the cap, but the fact it didn't get anywhere close to 32 until like the last hour is why we didn't raise the cap. If people had signed up earlier, then potentially the cap would have been raised. But okay, so yeah, this is kind of what we expect. It was interesting that Frosty ran out the Florahedron. I would be tempted to keep that Florahedron protected. Because exactly what we saw there. It just gets frostbitten, and now he's struggling for lands. I would have been really tempted to just play Trailer Crumbs and then tap Florahedron in 3. But yeah, these frostbites are doing work. Now Frosty is totally left hanging. Because now he's missed his land drop on 4. This is where it gets awkward. So I think running that Florahedron out, Gerry is holding back nothing. It's kill spell, counterspell. So yeah, Frosty's missing his land drops here. He's going to put a 1/1 in play, so maybe Gerry won't have the third kill spell for the.
Oh wow!
He's just got to get negate. Just get no 1/1, no Love Struck Beast in future. So yeah, very very skeptical here from Frosty playing the Florahedron as a 1/1. And just letting it die. Gerry's just wanting boys into play. He's just like, shock your face. Here's a giant. Here's a dragon. No, okay, we're just getting a giant with some counterspell backup. He's almost out of cards though, so a land is good. Now his Blizzard Brawl is turned on.
Yeah, I think I'd be tempted to. Gerry doesn't have a lot of creatures as such, so it's kind of hard because you kind of want to make the more mana efficient play of playing the Wicked Wolf. But maybe
you don't want to trade this Wicked Wolf off though, because this Love Struck Beast can't attack.
He's just passed the turn. Interesting.
Is Blizzard Brawl instant?
No. I think what I might have done from Frosty's side is just play the Wicked Wolf and elect not to fight the Bone Crusher Giant. Just use the mana.
That makes sense. That's an option. That's definitely an option that I wouldn't have seen because like you're so hardwired to have this Wicked Wolf come in and fight something that.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
okay, a Goose is big. A Goose is really big for getting this Wicked Wolf going. And then if the Goose survives, we're looking at a Kogla next turn, or a Vornklex. So this turn he might just Blizzard Brawl just to get the 4/3 out the way. And there's probably not a good way to save the 4/3.
I don't think Gerry cares about the 4/3 too much, to be honest. Like, I think he's happy. He's got the 2-for-1 from his Bone Crusher Giant. If he trades for like. Was it the Florahedron, I'm guessing? And then,
so the play went turn 1, make a 1/1, turn 2, play a Florahedron gets shocked, or like the Frost shock. But the issue was Frosty only had like 3 lands and a Florahedron, so I think he should have probably kept the Florahedron as a land.
I still think, given that Gerry only had 3 cards in hand last turn, I think like Frosty should have played the Wicked Wolf last turn as a 3/3 to start applying some pressure and Blizzard Brawl with the Giant this turn.
Well, I mean, now he gets to...
Although...
Now he gets to eat this Goldspan Dragon if Gerry doesn't have Essence Scatter. Essence Scatter is the only out here.
Yeah, but... Again, I don't think Gerry's too concerned here.
I guess it could have been more Disdainful Stroke. In fact, now that we're deep enough into it, let's have a little look. Gerry does have 2 Disdainful Strokes in his deck. Oh, that's big good. Draw. That's a big draw. Now,
I don't know.
Does he put him on a negate or a Disdainful Stroke?
I think Gerry would have some sort of.
This hits the table because he doesn't have. It can't be a see it coming. It has to be a negate, and we've already seen 1 negate, so it has to be a second negate or a Disdainful Stroke.
Yeah, I think it's a removal spell. This might be a removal spell.
I mean, I think Frosty's almost happy if this Lovestruck Beast gets bounced. If that's
if
a
it's
Brazen
a
Borrower.
Brazen Borrower. Yeah, I think Gerry might have to let this happen.
Oh no, he could have a See It Coming because of the treasure.
Yeah. He has access to 4 mana right now. I think the See It Coming would have had to have answered the Great Henge.
I mean,
I don't think Gerry would let the Great Henge resolve.
what could it be? It could be another dragon.
Brazen Borrower, yeah.
It looks like a Brazen Borrower. Yeah, there we go. There's a Brazen Borrower. Yeah, that's why he was tanking for so long.
Yeah, Gerry has a tempo here. He's
and this is what we talked about. That he has to play this as a tempo game. He can't play a control game against this deck. Next turn is looking pretty good for Frosty though. Getting this Kogla down, fighting the dragon, gumming the board right up.
Yeah.
So we're going to see Frosty take a hit here, but this is worst case scenario for the blue-red player. Is no cards in hand facing down an active Great Henge.
Yeah.
Because how much mana is Frosty going to have here when you take
6
this
mana.
Ardenvale? No, he's got the. Oh, is this all?
Yeah, so it's 6 mana, and I think this is
fine. So this kills the dragon, and then he's going to get to play the goose as well, and the goose will be able to block the sprite.
Yeah. So this is going to be pretty close, but obviously Gerry's fighting.
I don't know. I feel like just the Great Henge gaining life and drawing cards is going to be enough to put this one away.
I think gaining 2 life a turn is huge. Be interesting to see what Gerry has access to. One of them's a land, so that's
remember how at the start of this broadcast we talked about the Eldraine problem. Yeah. Look at the permanents that are in play right now. There's only one permanent that is not from Throne of Eldraine.
Surprise,
I guess there's the lands, but I mean, like, we're looking at Goose, Adventure Creatures, the Great Henge. Like, I think this is almost lights out. Frosty's just going to get to vomit his hand here, have it fully replaced.
Yeah, I think like the Great Henge is such a big problem for the blue decks. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what we were saying on our pre-game analysis, that like the Great Henge was going to be the card to look out for. That's the card that's going to swing this matchup. And I think Gerry played it really well, just like being aggressive with his counter and kill spells.
Yeah.
And then trying to put pressure on the board with the Giants but again, we're just seeing the raw power of Eldraine cards here. That Lovestruck Beast couldn't attack and still held up the entire offensive. It stood there and stopped Bone Crushers coming in for 3 turns. And now the Great Henge is making it possible to just turn this corner.
It's really problematic.
Stephen's pointing out that there was a good game from Gerry, but then playing on. I think he understands the writings on the wall with the Great Henge just coming into play. Interestingly enough, I have seen green decks that are playing the enchantment, the artifact that makes changelings and says all your creatures are or have changeling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen decks that are playing that, and the shenanigans they get to do is Kogla can bounce himself because Kogla doesn't say another human because it's assumed Kogla's not a human.
Yeah.
So Kogla can 1 green return a human, and if he has a changeling, he has a human. So Kogla can bounce himself to replay himself. Obviously, that's in the aggro decks. I don't think Food would be messing about with non-creature permanents, but so we're going to switch this game to the other's perspective. So we're going to get to see this game from Gerry's point of view.
Nice.
Now that Martin's back, I'm going to tag out for my bathroom break. So I might be back in time for the next game, depending on how sideboarding goes. Maybe you could talk about what options they have for sideboarding all the way.
Yeah, definitely. I'll see you in a bit, Kev. So yeah, from Gerry's perspective, this matchup it's looking like it's going to be pretty tough. I think he has access to Stormdraft, which It's normally good against creature decks, but obviously 4 damage doesn't deal with all the permanents, but I think it might be necessary to bring in. Shredded Sails is an interesting one. It's kind of flexible sideboard card that can deal with flyers like Goldspan Dragon, but also importantly, it can deal with a lot of the problematic artifacts that you see in the standard metagame. And I think Great Henge alone is one that would be enough for me to justify bringing in Shredded Sails. The gates are not really necessary. Like, I think maybe you want to trim down on the gates. I think Disdainful Stroke deals with any of the cards that you would normally want to negate, like the Great Henge. So maybe negates come out of Gerry's main. What else? There's not really too much. There's not really too much that Gerry really wants to bring in. I'd say like Scorching Dragonfire's one for consideration. Maybe even Ox of Agonis. If you feel like you want to utilize all your resources, Ox of Agonis can allow you to draw 3 once you've, as I said, like the games are quite grindy against these like food decks. So Ox of Agonis is another card that you might want to bring in. You might consider taking out like 1 or 2 copies of Goldspan Dragon. That's something that Gerry could certainly consider. And that's pretty much it from the Izzet deck. When we look at Frosty,
Back just in time.
oh, wow, that was fast. So
straight into a mulligan to 6.
Yep, mulligan 6 from Gerry. So like Frosty side. Oh, that's it. Never mind. I brought up the wrong one. 2 seconds. Just try to find Frosty's.
So I mean, I don't think Gerry's sideboard has a lot he's got interest in here. The Scorching Dragonfires are good for dealing with the Troll Kings, but that seems to be about it.
Shredded Sails, because it can kill Great Henge.
Great Henge, yeah, and Oven.
Yeah, and maybe...
Interestingly, Gerry puts back an island here. I guess he's just looking at Shatter Skull Smashing as a land.
Yeah, exactly. I think Shark Skull Smashing is more flexible. You might want to use it on tokens, for example.
Yeah. Foretells saw it coming, so now next turn we'll have a counter spell and a Frostbite up. And turn 3 is the scary turn.
Turn 3, and
this Shatter Skull Smashing is potentially going to be really good at wiping out all these little humans.
Yeah, it depends on Gerry's draws.
To make these questing beasts look dumb.
Lovestruck Beasts or
Lovestruck Beasts, yeah. Because if Gerry can wipe out all the Lovestruck all the 1/1 tokens, Lovestruck Beast isn't going to be doing very much.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I was surprised to see the pathway come in as a blue sorcerer. You think he'd want to get double red down?
I think like default you want access to a lot more blue than red, but yeah, like with the Shatter Skull Smashing in hand, like maybe Gerry just only sees it as a red source of mana. So maybe Gerry's not really is deciding that he's not wanting to deal with the tokens with Shatter Skull Smashing.
I guess now he's probably looking to just put this land into play.
Yeah. I think like from Frosty's side, I would expect to see like the Vivians come in, Ugin come in probably, just to give them more angles of attack than just creatures.
Yeah, like I agree. I feel like the fact that Gerry let game 1 get away from him is going to make these game 2 and 3s quite difficult. It's definitely an uphill battle. I feel like the food deck has more options out of the sideboard.
Yeah, it just has more access to attack from. Like Frosty also has like 2 questing beasts in the sideboard as well, so it's likely that he's expecting Gerry to tap out for like Wraths or to some degree, and then hit Gerry with a 4/4 haster to consistently put pressure on.
What's your Gerry's opinion on the Snow Manland versus Crawling Barons?
I think the Snow Manland is just better. It's a lot more. You can choose to use the.
Okay, so Gerry's just dealing with the tokens this way: Brazen Borrower and a Shock.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think a 5/5 on the battlefield's fine. Like you've got a slot coming for the Great Henge. So basically, from what you said there, the Faceless Haven is just a lot less work. It requires a lot less investment. I'd probably rather have like a 4/4, a 4/3 whenever I want it for 3 mana.
So this is what we talked about, that the countering the Feast and Troll King, seems like a lot of effort to achieve nothing. But if Frosty can't put food together, it's not the worst.
Big draw.
There's a dragon.
Yeah.
I mean, Gerry might just have to tap out here and go for the dragon and hope nothing bad happens to him, right?
I don't think he has a choice, because like if he plays the dragon now, he goes down to 12, hoping that, you know, Frosty doesn't have a response, or hoping that, you know, by the time Gerry gets 2 attacks in, he has access to like potentially 10 mana to make a massive shark token. So I think it's worth the risk, to be honest. And I think I would just slam that dragon and just hope it gets there, the shark backup.
I mean, there's no food, so Wicked Wolf isn't an out. It's going to have to be Kogla or some equivalent threat, maybe a Vornklex or a Questing Beast or something, like, to really punish the dragon here.
Oh wow, Gerry's opting not to play the dragon. Don't know. I don't know if that was the correct decision, to be honest. Because now, if Gerry had that down, he'd have had essentially 9 mana. Would be able to make a shark, and if he had 10 mana, he would be able to make a shark that could deal with this.
Maybe he was just hoping to dissuade some Haymaker with like the threat of counter magic, but now he's just so far behind.
I don't think that was worthwhile. Like, Gerry's just in such a
no,
pretty much dead. Like, I think Gerry had to play that dragon, in my opinion.
The hello emote comes in. The Brazen Borrower can't block.
Because now, like, what? Like,
he would
have had an 8/8 token. You know, you would have had an 8/8 token that would have been able to eat one of the Troll Kings, plus still have an 8-powered creature. Now Gerry's facing lethal, because all Frosty needs to do is awaken that Faceless Haven, and that's Gerry done.
Yeah, I didn't even account for the Faceless Haven. I was thinking that he'd be sitting pretty on 1 and maybe claw it back. But it looks like Gerry's is hoping maybe Frosty has forgotten about the Faceless Haven.
Well, I mean, Gerry's not dead. Like, you can block the Faceless Haven with the Shark Typhoon, but this Shark Typhoon would have been a lot better as an 8/8 as it is as a
1/1 chump blocker.
Yeah, that, you know.
I mean, I don't know if there's any outs. Gerry doesn't have any. He's got no Ugin.
He needed to play the Goldspan the turn before. Needed to play the Goldspan, because he would have been on 12, but he would have had 11 power coming through, and then which would have meant that Frosty would have had to have blocked, would have had to have chumped one of his Troll Kings as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just too much. Yeah.
Yep. And there it is. That the concession coming through.
Yeah.
Mono green food. Maybe only playing like 3 new cards, just the 3 copies of Blizzard Brawl, still getting it done. And again, like, this is the thing about Eldraine. Like, this deck is basically an Eldraine block constructed deck, right? Like, the fact that like crutches so hard on food that was only in that one set. You've got your Castle Garden Briggs, you've got your Gilded Goose, you've got your Feasting Troll King, you've got your Great Henges, your Trailer Crumbs, your Wicked Wolves, your Witch's Oven. Like, in Frosty's main boards, the only non-Eldraine cards are Vornklex, 1 copy of Kogla, 1 copy of Blizzard Brawl, and the Faceless Havens. Oh, and the Mammoth. But
the Mammoth's not from the new set, right? Oh no,
the Mammoth's from Zendikar. Yeah, so I mean, if you count the Mammoth as a land, like there's only, if you count the Mammoth as a land, and obviously the Faceless Haven's a land, there is only 3 non-land permanents that are not from Eldraine in Frosty's main board.
Yeah.
So yeah, like,
it just goes to show the power of Eldraine.
Yeah, man, we did talk about this. We did talk about the Eldraine problem. Snow-covered lands. I guess you're technically right, Frosty. Snow-covered lands are not
snow-covered lands,
but they are land permanents. They are not non-land permanents.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, the deck. It turns out mono green food. I laddered with mono green food last season. Like, I got all the way to Mythic just playing mono green food, and it's no slouch. And I was worried that maybe other decks would overtake it, but it looks like it didn't need any upgrades. It was maybe already good enough. And Vornklex is definitely an upgrade.
A big haster. Most of the time it's going to be a big haster, but
the best Colossal Dreadmon I've ever printed.
Yeah, pretty sick. Frosty, what else is in your hand there? Because I was interested if Gerry, because I was saying that Gerry should have played the Gold Span the turn he could cast it in order to potentially serve up an 8/8 Shark the following turn. Because I think the issue is he would have been able to present lethal damage on the backswing against your, like, he would have been on 12 life, you would have had 2 7/6s in play, plus a 4/3, so you'd only been able to deal 11 damage. So I'm not sure if Gerry had played the Gold Spine Dragon a turn earlier, and then he would have had access to, if he attacked again, he would have access to like 2 treasures to make an 8/8 Shark, if he, like, from drawing the land as well. So I don't know. I think that made the difference that game. But yeah, I think it's quite difficult for red green, just because your removal spells, the removal spells didn't line up well because they're damage as opposed to destroy.